right way.
Alrighty, I'm just muting everyone for now. We'll open up for Q&As in a moment if there is any questions. I'm just working out how to use Zoom myself. I actually haven't hosted that many. I've been on Zooms before, but yeah, working out the muting. So one second, a few people more joining. Alrighty. Recording on. Cool. That should be everyone. All righty. Welcome, people. Welcome to the first call session of the Million Dollar Knockers. Thank you for joining the community and being OGs. Looking forward to where this community can go and helping each other grow. I'm Leonidas Prestos. I'm a real estate agent in Western Sydney, Australia. I'm not sure where everyone's tuning in from. I know a few people couldn't make it today, so if you do know anyone that couldn't make it today, just let them know it will be recorded and it will be posted in the group. So, as I said, I'm Leonidas Prestos. I'm a real estate agent in Western Sydney. I've been door knocking heavily now for the past few years, and I've been putting my content online, and it's engaged very well. And I've realized that a lot of people either love door knocking or they want to learn more about door knocking. So, sorry, someone else coming in. To learn more about door knocking. So that's kind of why we're here and why I created the Million Dollar Knockers. I'll be honest, at the start of my career, I didn't door knock too much. I tried it the first few times and I hated it. I wasn't getting leads. I was getting rejected. I thought it was a waste of time. And I just honestly thought that it was a complete waste of time. And then I realized the reason that I didn't like it was because I was shit at it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was going to the front door and I was not getting any leads whatsoever. And then I was like, all right, there's agents obviously door knocking. They're getting listings, they're converting listings. What am I doing wrong? And then I really started to study how to structure my conversations, how to close, and how to convert more appointments into appraisals, more so than just going out there looking for listings. And then I found that those appraisals turned into relationships, and those relationships turned into listings. Once I started doing that, the business started coming in. I go, okay, this is something that I need a part of my business. So that's kind of where my obsession of door knocking came from. Now, the reason that I love door knocking so much is it's not necessarily about just getting the listings. It's made me a better agent in all avenues. It's helped me become better at talking. It's helped me close more over the phone as well. So it's given me a lot more confidence mastering the door, the art of knocking, in all avenues of the business. So it's not just about going out finding listings. It's becoming a better speaker. It's becoming a better agent, involved in the community, and doing the things that a lot of other agents aren't doing for another source of leads. So the most common reasons agents tend to fail when they start their door knocking career is because they just give up too soon. You got to understand this is a bit of a long game. And we know that we're in real estate. Anything that we're doing is a long game. It's all about building connections, relationships, and just being that agent in the area that can provide that information to them. So when something does happen in their life that they do need to sell, that you are the first person that they think of. So don't give up before it's, don't give up too soon. And a lot of agents they don't like the feeling going up to the front door. They don't like that fear of rejection, and that's something that you'll overcome with confidence, and confidence comes from repetition. So this will build you momentum and make you a killer. So today we're going to be focusing on a few things. The main thing that we're going to be focusing on is basically dissecting one of my scripts. So we'll be going through that shortly, and we'll be going through the types of questions to ask. But the things to remember when you are door knocking is your energy. It's very important that you have high energy, but that's not for every case. So every door knocking experience is different. If you're going up to the door and someone is a little bit shy and not too energetic, it's important to still be energetic, but don't go in there with crackhead energy. You're going to freak them out, So if it's someone that's a bit more receptive and they have a bit more energy, go in. You always want to be a little bit higher than them in terms of the energy, but don't overdo it because you'll scare them. So focus on that. And I always like to talk with my hands a lot. Always like to talk with my hands a lot. Really helps them keep an eye, helps to get your point across. And really helps with your conversation. So, sorry, some more people joining in. Great. Now, when you are door knocking, I really don't want you to overthink it too much. Look, we're going to go over the scripts. We're going to make you a killer. You're going to be a pro. But at the start, don't overthink it. Just get up to the front door, knock on it. And if you mess up, it's okay. The reality is, the people that you're knocking on, they're not going to remember you after 10 minutes since you leave their door. How many times do you think they get knocked in a week? Not just from agents, from every other type of knocker that's out there. How many times has someone knocked on your door? Do you even remember their name? Do you remember what they're selling? Do you remember what they said? People don't remember, nor do they care. So if you mess up, it's okay. So go in with that mindset that you can mess up. The hardest part, I don't care what anyone says about door knocking, is literally just going up to the door. That is the hardest part. That's the only thing you need to master. You just need to get to that front door and knock on it. That feeling, it's in your stomach when you're walking up there, that, that fear. We all get it. I still get it. But once you get past that, it gets easier. Once you just knock on the door, believe it or not. So we'll be going into the script. You're going to realize the way that I structure my script. So I'm going to have all my scripts in the group. I'm going to aim to post about 2 scripts a month and try to and do a call session every month. And you'll notice one thing, the words will be different in my scripts, but the things that is the same is the questions. Now, the reason that the questions are important is because every scenario is going to be different when you're knocking on the door. The conversation is going to steer in a different direction. But if you remember the types of questions you need to ask, you can allow the person to steer off into their own conversation. And then if you remember what question to ask next, you can get them back on track to go in for the close. Because it is really important to ask the right questions and get the person talking so they feel comfortable with you and so that they feel like they're in control. But in reality, you're controlling the conversation and steering it back to the close. Now, I don't like to knock on the door, and if you've been following me, you'll know this. I don't like knocking on the door going, "Hey, my name's Leon. I'm from XYZ Real Estate. We just sold the house down the street. Are you thinking of selling?" Like, no one cares. No one cares about that. What you want to do is you want to ask a question that gets them engaged. My favorite question at the moment is, "Hey, I don't know if you've seen us around." Now, the reason that I like that question so much is it gets them thinking. It goes, have I seen them around? Should I have seen them around? Who are these people? And the difference between just talking the entire time when you're at the front door compared to asking questions. Sorry, people are still coming in. The difference between asking the difference between just talking the entire time and asking questions is if you're just talking the entire time, they're just going to zone out. They're not even going to know who you are. They're probably not even listening. They probably don't even realize you're a real estate agent or what you're offering. But if you're asking them questions, it's going to get them engaged into the conversation and keep them actively listening. So my favorite one, my favorite opener is, "Hey, I don't know if you've seen us around." Now, after that, you generally want to ask more questions that will kind of, I guess, get them talking about their life or their home, which will kind of build an emotional connection, which we'll dive into now. So I'll just share my screen here now and go into the script. All right. All right, so this is a script that I've recently put. I actually made. I've got a video of this on my Instagram. It's done very well in terms of engagement, and this script is killer at the door. It's one of my highest converting scripts at the moment. And as I said before, you're going to realize that the fundamentals of these scripts are the questions or the types of questions that you ask. So we'll focus on the words, but I don't want you to necessarily memorize the words or focus on the words. I want you to focus on the questions. Because once you study the questions and you are familiar with the types of questions you need to ask in a particular order, it will help you control the conversation while they think that they're in control. So, for example, here, knock, knock, with my favorite opener, "Hey there, I don't know if you've seen us around." You'll see that this is an open-ended question. It's to build curiosity and spark engagement. You're inviting them into a casual, non-threatening conversation. You're not pitching anything yet. So you're just asking a question. They don't even know what you're offering. They have no idea. You really got getting them thinking at this point. And it disarms and it opens the door to dialogue and it starts building familiarity. Now, you're going to want to pause after you ask this question. You really want them to think, as I said before, have I seen them around? Who are these people? Yada, yada, yada. Now, sometimes they'll say, oh, I don't know if I've seen you around. Oh, yeah, yeah, I've seen you around. Whatever it is, don't let them kind of talk too much about it. It's more to just get them thinking. Then you're going to just jump straight into, we just sold your neighbor's house, number four for $10 million. And we're letting the street know because sales like this impacts everyone's property value. Now, this is a statement. It's not necessarily a question, but this is your value anchor. You're establishing credibility and making your presence relevant. So it established social proof, and you're not just randomly knocking. There's a clear local reason why you're knocking on their door. Now, you're not going to pause too much after this question or statement because they're either going to go, oh, yeah, I've seen that, or yeah, I've seen the for sale sign. You really want to start building rapport quickly after this. So you're going to go, how long have you lived here? So you'll notice that this question, it's open-ended, it's to build rapport, and it makes them about them and not about you. It helps you gauge their attachment to their home, and it opens up the conversation in a low-pressure way. So this will get them talking a lot. This is the greatest question you can ask because you can really go down a rabbit hole of their life. You can start talking about, have they lived in the suburb before this home? What do they love about the suburb? What favorite shops in the suburb? Do they have family in the suburb? You can really get off track with this question. And that's why it's really important to remember the questions because you do want them to really dive deep into this because this is going to help them. Sorry, another person coming in. There we go. You really want them to dive deep into this because this is going to make them comfortable with you and really put their guard down and open up to you. Now, no matter how long this goes, it could be, oh, we've just been here for 4 years, or they could go into a deep dive conversation about their entire life, which is great. You'd be better off if they did that because you know that they're starting to open up to you. But regardless of what the response is, you want to revert back to the main questions or statements. So that's fantastic. One thing I've noticed is that people love living here. It's such a sought after spot. Homes don't often come up, and when they do, they move fast. Now, this is another soft statement. You're reinforcing why the area is desirable and planting the idea of value and demand. Now, this creates a sense of FOMO or fear of missing out and positions their property as a valuable asset without being too salesy. It's really important you don't sound like a typical agent at the door and have commission breath. Once they smell that, they're going to want to leave that conversation and want nothing to do with you. So again, you're going to jump in quickly into the next question. So you're not going to leave too much room for them to say anything after that because you want to kind of start building up for the close. You're going to go, the market is always changing. A lot of your neighbors have been curious about their home's current value, especially with prices like this. Out of curiosity, do you have any idea what your home might be worth now? Now, this is an open-ended discovery question. It's a low-pressure, soft intro into the idea of evaluation. So you're not even asking for it yet, but it encourages them to think about their equity without pushing for a listing. Yeah, you're testing their awareness and interest level. So then this is where you're going to want to pause, and they're going to respond with a few options. They're going to say, oh, we're not interested in selling, or yeah, we've got one a few months ago. We've recently got one. And whatever the response is, you're basically going to be saying the same thing regardless because you're trying to kill all of those objections, whether they've said it or not, because sometimes they'll just be thinking of these objections. And you want to just jump into, look, we're actually offering complimentary 10-minute appraisals next Wednesday and Thursday. For homeowners who are just curious, it's very important you say just curious. No obligations at all. Would you like to join some of your neighbors and get an updated idea of your home's value? Now, this is a soft call to action with urgency, low commitment, and social proof. Now, the reason it's important to say 10 minutes, non-obligation, and join your other neighbors is because if they're not thinking of selling, the thing that they're going to be thinking in their head is, why would I waste this agent's time? I'm not selling. I'll be wasting everyone's time. What's the point of getting an appraisal? I have no intention of selling whatsoever. So when you say the 10 minutes, that's going to say, all right, it's only going to take 10 minutes. He's made it clear it's a 10-minute appointment. I won't be wasting too much of his time. So that clears that objection in their head. Then next Wednesday or Thursday, it gives them an option close. Oh, okay. Well, if you ask someone when they're available, they go, oh, I don't know. I got to pick up the kids from soccer. I got to do this. Wednesday or Thursday, are you available? And they'll go, oh, yeah, actually, I'm available on Thursday. So it helps you close that objection in their head. And mentioning that it's no obligation, so they know that it's not a listing presentation. Now, another important thing to say here is joining your other neighbors. Now, this is normalizing it. It's going to be like, oh, well, everyone else on the street's getting one. They only take 10 minutes. He's going to be here doing them on Wednesday and Thursday anyways. Oh, if John up the road's getting one done, why wouldn't I get one done? So you're kind of killing every objection that they might either one tell you or two, or I find that most people just keep the objections in their head and don't actually tell you the real reason why they don't want it. So this will kill all of those objections and help you close more appraisals. Now, the goal here, and I stress this a lot on my social media, you're not looking for listings. You're looking for relationships. You're looking for data, if you will. You're looking for phone numbers. You're locking in 10-minute appraisals to get their information, because if you're an active agent in the area, when you have something to sell, you want someone to tell about it, because you don't know what their situation will be, and things change all the time. I've had multiple scenarios where I've knocked 2 years ago, and then I've just kept them updated with sales, not even necessarily phone calls, just a text message. Just sold this around the corner. Oh, great, Leon. We're deciding to move up the coast, or we're moving into the country. We're ready to sell. And I wouldn't be in those positions if I didn't have a list or data to let people know about my sales. So the breakdown of the actual questions. So the questions slash statements. Number one is the icebreaker and the curiosity question. So that would have been, hey, I don't know if you've seen us around. So this opens up the conversation in a soft, friendly way without sounding like a salesperson. So you need to, for the person that answers the door, you need to get their guard down straight away. The second that they feel like they're being sold to, they're going to be finding ways to get out of that conversation as soon as possible. Now, number two is the informational statement with implied authority. So this is established relevance and credibility by referring to a nearby sale. Now, then you're going to go into the report building and qualifying question, gets the homeowner talking about themselves and their connection to their home. Very important. That's honestly the best way to get their guard down. And then after you get there, I want to make it clear, you don't go in for the close until their guard is down. You need them to open up to you. You need them to tell you about their life, their story, their family, etc. And then once you build that quick, you've only got a couple minutes to do this. Once you build that trust with them, that's when you go in for the close. Because at the start, you're a stranger. Why would they let you in the house? Even if they were selling, just because you had a for sale sign on the street doesn't give you enough of a reason to be the one that represents to sell their home. You need to build that relationship. And then number four, market insight, priming statement, plants a seed of a value and demand without directly selling to them. And then number five, discovery engagement question. So this gently uncovers the homeowner's awareness and curiosity around their home's value. And then you go in for the close and social proof. Makes it easy for them to say yes, using urgency, low commitment, and the comfort that others are doing it too. Now, this script's going to be available in the Skool community. As soon as I get off this call, I'll make it public, and you'll have access to this. But I really wanted to kind of break down and show you how I structure my scripts. And usually I use this structure with all of them. So like I said before, I'll change the words. I've got another script that will be available as well, but you'll notice the questions, they're the same. The words are different. So it's always sticking to these fundamentals right here. And as I said before, if you remember to stay in this order, no matter what direction that the conversation goes in, you'll be able to be in control of the conversation. And the best thing about this is you don't have to talk that much. You're just asking questions and making a couple statements. The one who speaks less generally does best. Let them do all the talking, because they'll feel like they're in control. They'll feel comfortable around you. And then all you need to do is ask the right questions and then go in for the soft close at the end, and you'll convert more appraisals. So that's the breakdown of this script in particular, but like I said, they would all be very, very similar. And you can tweak your own. You don't necessarily have to use my scripts, but use this order of questions. You can kind of create your own, put your own touch to it, and go from there. And let us know how you go with all of these kind of questions and building your own scripts. And if you do come up with a killer script, I'd encourage you to put it in the group as well. So now we'll go into some Q&As. You can have some questions, of course, about the script. Any questions that you might have about the Sorry, just stop sharing here. Any questions you might have in general about door knocking, or has there been any doors that you've knocked this week and something weird or very interesting that has happened? Anything. You can either jump on the call and go on the video and ask, or you can ask it in the chat, and yeah, we can go from there. So we'll open up to Q&As now. Any questions out there? I don't know how I'm going to be able to see if anyone wants to talk. One sec.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Just unmute yourself if you'd like to have a question.
my name is Anuj.
Hey,
So
Amish, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
Yeah, I've been door knocking for around a couple of times, but it was for a different portfolio. I just moved into real estate and I started door knocking. Quite a
Yeah.
good success. The question I have is, what if there's a situation where you've listed a house in the area? I can see your videos where you're door knocking in the farm where you're listing,
Yes.
seeking appraisal. Uh, what if the house which you sell is not gone to the price for some random reason, probably because of the condition of the house? It's not achieved the high price point,
Yes.
which does help which can excite the people where you door knock. How do you tackle that situation, that if the house is sold at a lower market value, uh, and you want to get more appraisals on the doors from the neighbors? How do
Yeah.
you do that?
Yep. So you just change the script. So you don't wouldn't necessarily have to talk about the actual sale price. You would just more so talk about I guess, the actual campaign itself. So you would
Okay.
knock on the door, and instead of saying, "Hey, I don't know if you've seen us around," and then pause, and then we've actually just sold your neighbor's house number 60. We actually had a really good campaign there. We had 35 buyers through, and we thought we'd just let the street know. So you're kind of just focusing on the positives, and that's what we do. We're real estate
Yeah,
agents at the end of the
absolutely.
day. Always focus on the positives. If the sale price wasn't a good sale price, and I would try to steer away from that. But in most cases, there's usually a reason why a property hasn't sold for a good price. There might have been some type of reason. There might have been something wrong with the property, might have had a bad tenant. And I do believe it's okay to be honest in those scenarios and be like, look, we had a really strong campaign there. We were faced with some challenges. The property was riddled with termites. The tenant
Yeah.
was really hard to deal with, which we do feel has impacted the value. So we're not suggesting that that price was the price for the street. So that's why we're open to giving people assessments on the street as well.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. I already missed what do we got here? Did you have any other questions? Uh, we will have this meeting recorded. Yes, this meeting will be recorded, and I'll post it in the classroom section in school. Missed the first part of the session, but coming up 3 months in the industry and keen to give door knocking a crack. Awesome, love that. If you missed the first part, I'll have that available in the school community. And it'll be there for everyone because I had a few people that because I'm in Australia and I didn't realize how many people followed me in other countries as well. And then I asked ChatGPT what the best time is in Australia to do a Zoom call. And apparently 9 a.m. in Sydney is the best kind of sweet spot for everyone that's in America, Canada, and Australia. So that's why we're doing it at 9 a.m. And if you can't make it, that's okay. We'll have it available. What does your pitch sound like when you don't have any sales in the neighborhood or farming a new one? Great question. So if if you're working in an office with other agents, where I had the benefit, I was lucky that there was a lot of active agents in my office. I knock around their success and make it sound like my own. And look, you're going to get some pushback if the agent finds out that you're doing that. But honestly, who cares? If they're not doing it, look, if they're doing it, don't knock it. Respect the hustle. But if they're not, they're wasting leads out there. And I've always thought, and I've always believed in, I'd rather be in a situation where I'm arguing over splitting a commission with an agent or giving them a percentage with an agent within my office and having no listings at all. So have no shame in knocking around agents within your office around their success, because if they're not doing it, then they're leaving the leads out on the table. And honestly, they don't deserve a percentage cut, in my opinion. If they're not out there knocking, if they're not out there knocking and looking for it, it's not theirs. You can't own listings. That listings are given to the ones who earn them. Now, if you don't have that uh, benefit of having agents within your office, it does get a little bit more difficult, but you'll just have to have a bit more of a cold approach. finding something else to talk about, making it, we're just in the area. We're offering multiple assessments for homeowners that just aren't curious, not necessarily using the fact that you've sold properties in the area as a reason to knock. You're just more so you're going through the area, you're offering it to the community. And look, it's going to be a lot harder to close at that point. But the reality is that's where you're starting from, and you're going to have to build it from somewhere. And then once you get one listing, you can really milk that. Getting the first few listings is always the hardest when you're starting out. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It will be difficult, but use any type of information that you think would be valuable to a homeowner and use it to your advantage. Ride with it. Use it the whole way through. Whatever can help you get through that front door. Um, Hey, oh, where are we here? Oh, awesome. Some good questions. Hey, Leon, say you door knocked someone 4 to 5 years ago and may not appraise their home. How would you nurture the relationship without pestering them? How often would you get in touch with them? So, all right, hey Leon, say you door knocked someone 4 to 5 years ago and not appraise their home. Okay, so I'm guessing in this scenario, you've door knocked them 4 or 5 years ago and you didn't get their phone number, and you're trying to get an appraisal. Look, I believe in just knocking. I've knocked. I've listed. There's a street in a suburb called South Penrith called Moseley Avenue. I've had one, two, three, four listings on that street now. I've door knocked it 5 times, and I've knocked the same door multiple times. And this is where I'm going to go back to the fact that we overthink everything, and we and we kind of think we're superstars but the reality is they don't remember who you are. You could knock honestly in a month, and the chances of them remembering who you are or your name, they won't. So you can almost play dumb in a sense of just knocking on the door again and doing the same pitch or letting them know about another sale. So look, I know you are going to feel like you're pestering them, but I promise you they don't know who you are. So just knock on the door. I've done it multiple times. And the reality is, if you do get a door in the face or they tell you to piss off, who cares? This is what we do for a living. This is how we make money. This is what we need to do to get listings, especially if you're starting out. And if the relationship's killed, it's better than not. You don't have a relationship with them anyway. So at least you know that it's ruined at that point, and you don't have to try anymore. Hey Leon, amazing stuff. Really appreciate it. Just curious to know, how would you approach the doors in the case you have just listed something and want the owners to know about it? Oh yeah, very simple. So when I first started, I used to always do my just listed knocks. Now I get my associate to do it. So when a property goes up, your first weekend, you go out, you knock the street every time the listing hits, and you just invite them to the open home. So this is kind of my soft approach. So you just invite them. I don't necessarily even offer an appraisal. I make it pretty quick. Just going, hey, just letting you know, we've got the house up the road there. More than welcome to come to the open home. It's this Saturday at 10 a.m. And then we can kind of, if they're interested in talking about valuations and things like that, we will delve into it. But I kind of do that so they can meet me the first time, so they're familiar with me. And then I give them the heads up. Oh yeah, come on down. By the way, I'll come around and let you know what it sells for. So I'm letting them know that I'm coming back. And then when I come back, it's easier, and they've already known me. We've already got a little bit of rapport, and then I go in for the close again. So I hope that helps you answer that question. Hey Leo, do you provide any material such as pamphlets or business cards to owners that are not interested? Look, I do. Look, I have the just sold pamphlets that I generally walk with. That I'll hand to them, but I really try to hold off to even like show them that I have that. I genuinely do not believe in business cards. It's an out. Like, how, think about it. How many times have you spoken to a shitty salesperson and they go and they're trying to sell you something, and you go, oh yeah, I'll take your card, and you take the card and you throw it in the bin. You go, thank God he had cards, because I found a way to get out of that conversation. So I'll have the pamphlets, but like I said, I'll keep them to my side. I'll really only offer to them once I close the appointment, saying, "Oh, by the way, here's a property that I sold, yada yada." The reason is because I want to be able to send them my business card, and I have my e-business card. And how am I going to send that? With their phone number. Oh, cool. Yeah, let me shoot you my e-business card now. If they ask for my card, great. Here, let me shoot you my e-business card now. And I shoot it to them. Yeah, cool. What's your number? I'll send it to you now. So yes, do not take any business cards. And that might not be what a lot of people tell you to do, but I do not believe in taking business cards to the front door. I think it's an out for them. Do you still get contacts for those who are not motivated to sell? Absolutely. So that's who I am looking for. Look, if I find a listing while I'm knocking, and it happens. It'll happen maybe once or twice a year where I knock and they go, "Yeah, we're actually selling." Oh, you came at the perfect time. But you got to think, what are the chances of that happening? So change your mindset to you are only looking for people that are not motivated to sell. Because then that's going to change a few things in your mindset. It's going to make you feel like you're having more wins. Because if you walk away from a knocking session and you get four phone numbers for people that are just curious of appraisals, that's going to be a win. You're going to be like, what a great day. And then you can really nurture them. So set your mindset to look for people that are necessarily not selling. And then you're going to get rid of that commission breath as well. If you're there and you're just looking for listings, I'm telling you, they'll sense it. I'm a big believer in energy. If you're just going out there looking for listings, they'll sense it. They'll smell the commission breath from down the street. So always get the contacts for those who are definitely not motivated to sell, and then nurture them, keep them up to date, keep them up to date to sales. If you see a good sale on their street that should be talked about that wasn't even with you, call them up or say a text, hey, just seen that property selling your street, unbelievable. Have those conversations with them. So yes, great questions, by the way. Is there anything else out there?
Just a quick one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Leon, Kenny Jacobs from Melbourne, mate. Just a quick one. I've been
Yeah.
following your Instagram, and I think you do awesome work. Mate, my question with door knocking is what time of the day? Like, I do look, you've got to layer things and do, your calls and other bits and pieces as well through the day. Do you have a fixed, like a structured format of when you do your door knocks? What's the most efficient way to do that?
Yes, absolutely. So, look, if you're just, it depends where you're at in your career. So, I find when people ask this question, it's early days in their career, just do it as much as possible. You've got all the time in the world. But once you start getting busy, I understand it does get difficult to find that time. I always try to door knock around just after 3 o'clock. I aim to leave around 3 o'clock so that I can kind of get there after school pickup and kind of go from 3:30 by the time I arrive to the street and get ready. 3:30 till kind of 5 o'clock, just a little bit after five, however long it takes me, is generally what I aim to do. Now, the way that I structure my calendar, my door knocking sessions are usually on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So that's a couple of reasons. One, my availability. Two, obviously, I film all my door knocks, so my cameraman, that's when he's available as well. So just find days that are available in your calendar and just stick to it and be strict to it and just have it as a non-negotiable. It's an appointment. If someone even says, "Oh, can you show me this property?" No, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Like you are door knocking, and which is going to bring me to my another point. When you're door knocking, it's very important not to go into the door. It's because you're going to get all the time. Oh, do you just want to come appraise it now? And I get a lot of backlash about this. I've had this conversation. I believe I've made a video about it before. Do not go into the door. You are there to door knock, and that's it. You have allocated a time session for door knocking, not appraisals. This is not time for appraisals. And you just say, look, oh, look, I've only got an extra 40 minutes to finish this street. I'll have to come back another time, unfortunately. Now, the reason that is so important, and people go, oh, but it makes you look like a professional. You can go in, yada, yada. One, they might not give you their contact details, which avoids the whole purpose of offering the free appraisal. Like, that's why it's free, because you want their information. And the most important thing is when you're on a roll, when you're door knocking and your confidence is high, it's actually hard. It's kind of like when you start running. I don't know if many people run here. The first K is the hardest, but once you're on a roll, it becomes easy. So you want to continue that momentum and that energy that you have. You do not want to waste it on an appraisal. You want to convert it to more appraisals. So that is strictly for knocking and converting appraisals. The appraisals are another day. You're locking those in for another day. So yes, I hope that answered your question.
Yep.
Where are we here? Do you still yeah. Do you aim to do just one street per day, etc.? Look, at the moment, I will only aim to do the streets that I have listings on now. But when I first started door knocking and didn't have many listings, I would door knock around other agents as many as I could. I would do more than a street. I would do the surrounding streets as well. But now I'm at a point where I'm pretty busy, so I just focus on the streets. And that'll take me about an hour and a half, depending how long the conversations go. So that's what I focus on. But it depends where you're at in your career. So again, if you're busy, don't drop it completely. Focus on just on your streets where your listings are. If you're not busy and you don't have listings, then you got all the time in the world. You should be knocking as much as you can until your knuckles are bleeding, to be fair. Ready. Don't go in. Great advice. Thank you. A quick walkthrough doesn't give you enough time to build rapport, engage the owner's expectations. Absolutely. So, and they're completely different appointments. And there's two different energies, as I said before. When you're knocking, it's a different energy shift. And even appraisals, because that's a different show. You know, you're always putting on a show. And when you've got five appraisals in one day and you start doing them, you become better at them. You're killing them. You're easily building rapport. You know, it's two different appointments and you know, two different mindset shifts. In your initial career, in your initial days of your career, how many doors did you aim to cover in a day? So, oh, another question came in. Oh, in a day. So again, you can set your goals. So I never really looked at it how many doors I would knock. I would look at how many I could convert. So I used to set a KPI to find between door knocks and cold calls, or not cold calls, just calls in general. I would aim to get 20 appraisals a week when I first started. Now, again, these aren't selling appraisals, so they're just people curious of homes. So I was door knocking, I was calling past sales within my office from retired agents, and just prospecting phone calls from sales that happened on streets as well. So my general KPI for the total of them would be around the 20 appraisals per week. So that's what I'd focus on is setting your goal and don't stop until it's done. There's no point setting a number on how many things you should do if you're not meeting your target. You should meet your target, then finish. And then if you get better at it, guess what? You'll have more time in your day once you start converting more. Do you handle objections on door? Do you handle objections on door or at the appointments? Um, could you maybe just elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by that in terms of the objections, uh, like selling objections or getting appraisal objections? If you could just type that in the chat, that'd be great. What does your follow-up look like once they are in your database? So look, if they are thinking of selling within 6 months, they go into a bit of a 6 months and before. I'm a little bit old school. I write down. Actually, I'm not going to show you my leads. I don't know who's in here. I write down all of my pipeline on a paper from anyone selling. So I've got one side which is 1 to 3 months, and the other side's 3 to 6 months. Now the 1 to 3 months, I'm calling them every single week and letting them know. And then on the 3 to 6 months, it's more of a month check-in basis, but always letting them know about sales. Now, if they're not selling at all, and I've just got their information, I'm just letting them know about every sale in their suburb that I do or someone in my office does. So it's very simple. So I just got my contacts here. So let's just go South Penrith, for example. So every lead that I found in South Penrith is now in my phone. They're all there. So I put it right next to their name. I don't know if you can see that. So I put it right. Oh, my face tracker's on, so you might not see it. Anyways, I put their name and then I put their address straight to their name. And then I just go on my phone. When I sell something, I type in South Penrith, for example, and then I will bulk text everyone in South Penrith that's in my contact. Hey, whatever your name is, just sold this house for a million, blah, blah, blah. Really good for the area. If you'd like an updated assessment on your home, shoot me a message. And most of the time they won't respond, or sometimes they'll say, "Oh, cool, yeah, can I get an update?" And then I'll go, "Yeah, no problem. Did you want me to come see you, or did you just want it done over email, like a screen appraisal?" And then I'm just keeping in touch with them, and I'm always keeping in touch with them. And then you start to build a bit of a fan base. Like honestly, last night I had someone last night at what time did he email me? Jeff, one sec. Jeff emailed me last night. And again, I'm always texting Jeff about sales in the area. He emailed me last night. Hey, Leon, just curious. What's my property currently worth now? Send him a quick message. Your property's worth 700 to 715,000. Fantastic. Thank you. Now I'll follow him up in a couple days. Say, hey, just curious. Were you just wondering what it was worth, or are you thinking of selling? So you're just always kind of putting the bait out, and then you'd be able to find warm leads. So you're always just baiting with information. So as much as possible, but with relevant information. I'm not just calling them up to ask them how their day is. Like they know that you don't care how their day is. Like seriously. Um, selling what does your yeah, selling objections like what is your commission? Will you give cash back, etc. Well, look, the good thing is if they're asking what your commission is, they've just indicated to you that they're selling their home. Look, I would not give them your commission at the front door. Just say, look, I'm currently door knocking, would love to have this chat with you. This is a bit more of a detailed conversation in terms of what we can offer. Need to see where you're at with your property, and what you're willing to, commit in terms of the sale. And then we can come to an agreement that we're both happy with. How's Wednesday at 4 o'clock sound? I've just got to finish these door knocks, but I would love to have these conversations. Save it, use it to your advantage. But it's a great, if someone's asking that question, that's great because they've just indicated to you that they are indeed selling. Alrighty. So I'll allow for a couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up. Is there any other questions? I hope that was helpful. Like I said, I aim to have this every month. Now, once the group grows, so it's really important, invite your colleagues, your friends. Once the group grows, I want to get some credible people on here that are big in the industry, and that'll be easier to do once the group grows bigger, for sure. Now, the main focus of the group is I want you to okay, so the main focus of the group is I really want everyone to get involved in the sense of keeping everyone accountable. Now, the best thing that I've done in my career, which was a year ago, was not door knocking, was recording my door knocks. The reason that is so good is I can now go, I watch them back and I go, why did I say that? Or that was really shit, or that close could have been a lot better. You can really, because sometimes when you close someone, you just think in your head, oh, I killed that. I'm a superstar. You walk away, I'm the best. But then you walk back, you know, wait a minute, I could have actually done that a lot better. So I'm not saying you have to have the cameraman following you, recording like I do. Just put your voice, even if you're not comfortable with it, put your voice notes on, put it on your phone, put a headphone in, record the conversation, and then we can put that in the group and we can critique it. And trust me, we're here to help. There'll be no judgment, absolutely no judgment. If someone's judging, I'll boot them out of the group. Dead to me. This is not what we're about. We're here to help each other grow. And the only way we're going to do that is by listening to each other's live interactions. And the group's closed, so don't worry about the videos or the voice memos going out. To answer your question, do you let them know you're recording? Absolutely not. No, I don't. I haven't been, no one said anything yet. I always blur their face. And so yeah. So now if you're not comfortable with the videos or putting your voice out there yet you will be. Type out your interaction. If you had a good interaction, maybe just quickly stop on your phone, type in your notes how it went, and then when you get home, put it in the group so we can look at what went wrong, or if it went well, we can learn, okay, that was really good, that worked very well. And types of objections you're getting as well. Throw it in the group because then we can all learn off each other. We want to know all objections, even if it's objections we've never heard of, because we all want to be equipped for it when it comes, right? So that's the kind of whole idea of the group, is so we can put in our interactions. Now, I'm going to start putting in weekly as well. How many conversions I got that week, my wins and my fails, and then everyone can kind of comment on that thread as well. So that's the kind of idea of the group. Eventually, maybe bring in cold calling or calling sessions, but right now let's keep it predominantly to door knocking because I think that is a skill that a lot of agents don't want to focus on or put the time into. And I think it's just an easy way to get more listings, doing what the competitors aren't doing. So as I said, voice memos or video recaps, throw them in the group, and we will help you become better. So that's it, people. Thank you so much for attending the first live call session. You are truly the OGs. I'll remember yous forever. And Night is signing out. I'll see you in the group, and good luck out there, and keep me updated on your wins and your fails. See you. Bye.
So yeah.